Hello and welcome to Oakville Matters. Thanks to Kojiko and your TV, this is our chance to talk about the things that matter to Oakville. And I know that one of the things that matters to Oakville is art. And art is an interest to many different sectors of Oakville, and I think it depends on what stage in life you're at. When my wife and I moved to Oakville with three little kids, we were interested in art because we had artistically oriented kids and we wanted to get them involved. And we found that the town had programs, and Tonya Dericio is here to help us with that. Uh, Among the first friends we met were very talented artists, and they were members of the Oakville Arts Society, which seemed to be one of the oldest organizations in town, as far as we could figure out. And they were charming, and their works were very interesting. They had auctions, art shows with, you could buy their works, and they were worth buying. And my wife and I bought some. And then there's the Oakville Galleries, which was focused on contemporary art. And how I met those fine people was my neighbor was on the board of directors, and as a welcome to Oakville, he recruited me to replace him. And so all of a sudden, I was busy with that. I discovered that being busy with that seemed to involve raising money a lot. So with us today to represent the Oakville Galleries is the brand new executive director, Sally Frater, and representing the big network of members of the Oakville Art Society is Carolyn Crosby, who is a past president. Carolyn, I think you kind of occupy the middle ground, if I can describe it that way. So, uh, I'd like you to start us off with a little bit of introduction, like how old the Oakville Art Society is, how you got formed, and where you are now. And then today we'll go through all three faces of art in Oakville and reckon with how the pandemic is affecting us and what we hope to achieve when the pandemic lifts. Carolyn?
Thank you. Yes, the Oakville Art Society probably does stand in the middle of the spectrum that you described. We offer programming for beginners, for children, but we also offer studio space and advanced classes from everything from drawing and painting to printmaking. We used to have a huge pottery studio that no longer exists, and those potters have moved by and large to QE Park, which has an excellent pottery studio. And so we are a busy place. We have a lot of members and a lot of people from Oakville who take classes. We offer them every day of the week and all the year round. So we're a busy place and we have a very dedicated membership that has been around since 1965. We initially had a location in Coronation Park and moved when that place could no longer stand up very well to our present location on Bronte. And the thing that is distinctive about us is that we own the building, which is an old warehouse, essentially factory, and we've renovated it over the years to have two large studios plus a gallery and an office area for the people who work there. It's pretty well volunteer run, although we do have some part-time staff who help out with some things, but the volunteers are critical to the Art Society. As you mentioned, the fundraising aspect of the Oakville Society is a big issue because we are independent. We are not funded by government. We just puddle along as best we can. And most years that's fine. And during the pandemic, it has been very challenging. One other program that I will highlight at this stage is the community outreach program, which is a very important program for us. As we examined our mission a few years ago, we determined we needed to be more involved in the community and in the community that wasn't necessarily able to access the arts. So we now have, until this year right now, a program which sends our instructors out into various community groups, and a few of them do come to us, but they are essentially shut-in people, disabled people, people with severe disabilities of different kinds, and the town does help with the funding for that program every year. So that's another new aspect to the Oakville Art Society.
Well, and you know, it was a pleasure to when we turned Queen Elizabeth Park into a community and cultural center. It was a pleasure to be able to build facilities for our different groups in arts and culture that were better than what they'd been able to create for themselves. The Oakville Art Society, though, has always been self-supporting and independent, and very proud of that. And I'm very
Yes.
proud of all of my friends and in the art society who've contributed over the years to that. Tonya, at the uh, at the Queen Elizabeth Park Community Center, Community and Cultural Center, big mouthful. Um, One of the things that I discovered by accident, it was sort of a typical thing. You do something for one reason, and then it turns out to have been good for another reason. Uh, we set up Queen Elizabeth Park Community and Cultural Center to use an unused high school building that the town had bought, and we set out to put all the arts and crafts and culture things that we could in there. But I was really focused on sports like soccer fields and hockey arenas. And to my great shock, Queen Elizabeth Park turned out to be the single most popular facility that the town owns and operates. Like it blows the attendance, the traffic through there blows the doors off of everywhere else. So, uh, what kind of, like the joke on TV was, you must be cooking with cheese. What kind of cheese are you cooking with there?
Well, Queen Elizabeth Park Community and Cultural Center is a very special place. We just celebrated our ninth anniversary, so that would have been this past March. So we're moving into our 10th year, and we continue to grow and learn what the community wants. And I think a lot of Queen Elizabeth Park's success has been reacting to what the community wants. So providing a lot of children and family-based programs has been very popular. So we've definitely moved in that area. Our specialized studios, because they are very special, our wood shop, our ceramic studio, our fine art studios, they were built with intention. So the intention was to make them specialized studios with really great equipment. And I think that has also grown our membership with local artists, that they have access. They don't have to feel like they have to equip their own personal studio. They can come and use our facilities. So we've been able to work through that and figure out the most ideal situations for people. Queen Elizabeth Park also has a really great exhibitions program. So it's free to local artists and community groups to exhibit in our corridors. So we have big, long areas to exhibit artwork as well as a gallery. And so this program has grown as well as in our summer camp programs. We were able to implement pre-COVID specialized art programs, which are also quite unique. So I think we've been able to build slowly year by year, listening to our residents as to what they want and what they need in the community.
Yeah, it was a big spread out high school, and having all that hanging space or exhibition space. I mean, it feels like there are kilometers and kilometers of hallways, and every hallway is an art gallery now, or can be. But I visit it regularly, and it seems to me there aren't many hallways that aren't being used. Do we still have fiber arts at Queen Elizabeth Park as well?
Absolutely. We have a fiber-based studio, and we have many fiber guilds that use that space. So the other component of QEP that's quite special is that not only does the town provide programs, but we also offer space to local community groups to rent space and run their own programs, meet with their own members because of the spaces that we have.
Yeah. So I saved the best for last. Sally Frater is the new executive director of Oakville Galleries. And Oakville Galleries, believe it or else, is a world-renowned contemporary art gallery. And and we've had, we haven't had that many executive directors in the 30 years that almost 30 years that I've been here. I think we might have had three, maybe four. So Sally, welcome. Uh, you know, I'd love to hear a little bit about where you're from, what you're bringing to this job in terms of your vision and your expectation. And I want to invite you to also appear before a forthcoming council meeting to introduce you to the members of council. Although the Oakville Galleries is a arm's length organization, we do have a relationship with the galleries, and we do have some joint ambitions, I think. So let's talk about those things, Sally.
Sure, sounds great. Um, well, Oakville Galleries, as you mentioned, is a world-renowned institution. We have two locations. There's one on the lake shore and there's another one at Centennial Square. So we share a building with the Oakville Public Library. And I was really intrigued by this history of really strong exhibitions of contemporary art that the gallery has staged throughout throughout its history. And so that was something that attracted me to this space. In terms of my background, I've been working in the cultural sector, specifically in the visual arts, for about 16 years. And I was primarily working as a curator up until about 2 days before I took this position. So this has been a very recent shift into a more administrative role. And I think what I bring to this venue is a passion for art, a passion for contemporary art, and a commitment to showcasing the way in which art relates to all of our everyday lives and really underscoring that relationship. And I think Oakville is a really great town. As you mentioned, there's a lot of support for art in its many forms here. And so I'm really excited to grow the galleries along with our staff into a venue where the residents of Oakville and people beyond can come and continue to see top-notch programming. They can see aspects of their own lives or communities reflected in the programming that we do, and that we can partner with different institutions as the galleries have in the past, to provide programming that allows people to engage with the arts in a myriad ways, whether it's through taking a class or listening to a lecture online or participating in programming that helps, that unfolds on our grounds, that really takes advantage of the fact that we have these really amazing gardens. We have this really great location in the natural environment, and to think about what those relationships are.
So the most startling thing that I saw when I joined the board, almost 3 decades ago, was you mentioned, you reminded me of this, the huge collection, the holdings as they called them at the time, and they were squirreled away in storage. I mean, you can only, it was explained to me, well, in the galleries, we're showing what we're showing, but we have this vast sea of holdings beyond that. And they were, oh my goodness, there was like no storage space. There wasn't enough storage space in town to hold it all. They showed me stuff stuck behind stuff in other town buildings. And it must have grown. The collection must have grown over the last 30 years. Where is everything now?
We have over 1,100 works in our collection that are in a variety of media that range from paper to photography and painting and sculpture. And some of the works are on the grounds at Gairloch, in our Gairloch location, which is at the lake shore. Some of our public artworks, but a lot of them are in storage at Centennial. That's where the bulk of our works are stored. And I guess what you were explaining was a situation that many collecting institutions find themselves in, Most collecting institutions only have close to 10% of their works on display. And Oakville Galleries, we're a little bit different in that we don't necessarily have a permanent collection, with the exception of the pieces that are on our grounds. So we're thinking about ways that we can make the collection more available to visitors. And one of the things that we're doing is, in a few weeks, we're going to be launching a staff pick series on Instagram, where members of the staff get to write a little blurb and talk about a piece from the collection that really resonates with them and why. We're going to be having a collections-based exhibition, which is being organized by our assistant curator, Teresa Wang, called Two Truths and a Lie. And that's going to showcase 16 works from our collection. So we're really looking forward to that. And we also are having the throwback series, or we're going to be doing that on Instagram. And we're going to be selecting pieces from past exhibitions or past, just in an effort to get people more aware of what we've done in the past and what we're continuing to do and how our collection has shaped over the years.
And will you be using virtual display? I mean, I'm at a loss for what to call it, but social media, internet. As a matter of fact, for all three of you, when I was recruited to be on the board, like I say, almost 3 decades ago, there was no. I mean, there might have been an internet, but nobody was using it, not for this kind of stuff anyway. And as I recall, you had to dial up and you'd have this whiny thing, and then you'd connect to somewhere and it'd be incredibly slow. Like, ice froze faster in the refrigerator when you were waiting. Anyway, what are all three of you doing around virtual display, if that's the right word for it, internet display, or YouTube, or whatever?
Well, some of our talks, our public programs, are available over platforms such as Zoom. And we archive things on our website. The way that we document our exhibitions now is that we do still photography, which can be accessed through our website. So many institutions do use virtual platforms where you can sort of physically or virtually move through the exhibition itself. We're not using that. But there are ways that you can still see the exhibitions that we're staging.
And Carolyn, does the Art Society
we're
display your stuff?
At the moment, we're using a lot of Zoom for classes. So we have a number of Zoom classes on all times. They had a rough start because people are used to coming to the Art Society and being with other fellow artists and just their neighbors and community members to do art. So it was quite an adjustment, and some people never took the leap because they're not comfortable with it for a variety of reasons. But we do offer lots of Zoom classes. We have a large website which has got a lot of information and posts work of things that are going on in classes and so on. So I would say we're sort of in the middle of the road in terms of our use of technology. Use of a lot of sophisticated technology requires a huge level of expertise and money, to be blunt. You need the staff, you need the equipment, you need the time, etc. So we're in the middle of the road and probably will be for some time. But Zoom classes have been absolutely critical during the pandemic.
I was in a seminar last week with this Bloomberg Harvard thing for mayors around the world, and they had a Harvard professor whose specialty was communicating. And he said, well, here's my 5 key rules for how you can successfully communicate. But, it boils down to this: be really blunt with small words and short sentences.
Good message.
I thought, whoa. So Tanya, the town wants to be leading edge on all things digital, digital delivery of services. What have you got planned?
So we have also been using the Zoom platform for a variety of different programs, and all of those are available on our website. In the cultural area, we have we have and continue to offer a few free programs as well as paid programs. I have to say at this point, our most popular programs are Out of the Community Kitchen, where we have a weekly cooking show that families can participate in. The recipes are sent out on Monday on the webpage. You get your ingredients together, you meet up with us on Wednesday night, and we cook something special or bake something in the kitchen. So that's been a lot of fun. Before the stay-at-home measure, we also offered pickup kits. So some arts and crafts, an activity would be put in a bag and you could pick it up from Queen Elizabeth Park. So we've tried a range of different things just to see what people are interested in. Also on our Queen Elizabeth Park Community and Cultural Center Facebook page, we try to post interesting information about artists or any programs that are happening as well.
So if I look at the numbers that the pandemic is registering right now, we may have peaked about a week ago. And so hope springs eternal in young people's breasts and mine as well. And I'm hoping that by summer we might be approaching some degree of, not worse than last summer anyway. Do you have any summer projects? I'm thinking about council's been interested in promoting art in the parks. What kind of activity has that turned into for you? Tonya.
I'm going to answer that. I think you're asking me.
Oh, I was asking Tonya, but Carolyn,
okay.
You go ahead while Tonya thinks of how to answer.
Art in the Park is our baby in some ways. We have been hosting Art in the Park in Bronte down on the lakeshore for many, many years. And last year it was canceled because of COVID, and we have canceled it again this year just because of the amount of work it takes to put the Art in the Park together and the uncertain times we live in. It's something we normally have to start planning in January for the first weekend in August. So once again, we're not able to do it, and it's a huge loss because it is our largest fundraiser.
It is a fabulous event. Wendy and I go to that every year. I don't think we've ever missed it. It puts me in mind of a medieval fair. I will mangle a description of it in pursuit of the metaphor, but it's like a corral of all these tents, and every little tent-like structure is a different artist and their art, and much of it for sale, as I have discovered. I'm the carrier on the way home.
How are you?
So
yes,
I greatly
very popular show.
Yeah, I know Wendy. She sets her year by it. So Tonya, what about our public art consumption for the town? What sort of things have we got in store?
So planned for this summer, we're putting together 7 temporary public art exhibitions or featuring artwork in each of our 7 wards. So each ward will have 1 temporary installation of public art. We're just in the process of deciding and confirming the actual sites and the park locations. Oakville has so many beautiful parks. We thought this would be a really great program, thinking about summer when we can start to enjoy the outdoors. And so the 7 artists that we have selected are all local artists. So it's a celebration of our local artists as well. And more information will be coming out very soon about that, because we're hoping to launch it for July 1st.
Right. Now, there's one more project that I'd really like to let everybody know about, and that's the Grandmother's Voices series. Do you want to fill that in for us?
Absolutely. So every Thursday evening at 6:30, the town is delivering a program in partnership with Grandmother's Voice, which is an Indigenous group that is talking about, they're really casual conversations in which there's discussion about actions towards truth and reconciliation. We had our first program last week, which was really well attended. It's free. Just go onto the website, hit the Zoom link and join us. There's always lots of interesting conversations that happen from that.
So, Sally, what about Oakville Galleries? If my optimistic forecast comes true and we can start opening back up in June, which is how it's starting to look to me, uh, what might we expect for the summer from Oakville Galleries?
Well, we'll be running our summer camps, and we'll have a number of sessions there. They're geared towards kids, of course. And as I mentioned earlier on, we will have a collections-based exhibition called Two Truths and a Lie, which will feature 16 artists whose works are held in our collection. I should have mentioned this earlier on when we were talking about online platforms, that one of the programs that we were offering through Instagram is called Home Studio Take 5, and they're short little segments that are led by our education officer, Erica Morgentale, and they feature little instructional videos on works that kids can make at home. And we're also continuing to offer presentations through Zoom. And this evening, we'll be having a talk with Justine Chambers and Lori Young, which will be moderated by our assistant curator, Teresa Wang. So those are some of the offerings that we'll have in the upcoming months.
Well, I'm glad to see all this planning for the future. When I gave the State of the Town address last fall in the middle of the pandemic, I pointed to all the things that we had managed to achieve in spite of the pandemic. And I said that this is proof that Oakville lives up to its motto of go forward, because we were going forward even in the middle of adversity. Um, I really appreciate the time that you gave all of us today to share what you're doing. Carolyn and Sally, this goes without saying for Tonya, because I'm the mayor and she works for the town. But I'd like you to keep well, stay safe, and if you need help, you should let me know and give me a chance to try to help. I'd especially like to see both of you have a good, strong recovery, and I'm happy to talk to you anytime about those things. And to you for watching, I want to thank you. And please let me know what you'd like to be covered on Oakville Matters. We'll see you next time.